just start with this month. Obviously, you're back here in Indy. How's this month going for you guys in this single car team?
You know, it's going good, given the amount of resources we have to work with. I mean, it's a program that came together very last minute. We had 30 laps going into qualifying. We started on Friday. Everybody else had, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice. So given what we've had to work with, I think we're doing remarkably well. And, when you have 30 laps before qualifying, you're not going to sit on the front row, as competitive as the field is. So we've just stayed focused on our race package. I think we got a really good little race car, and I suspect we've caught at least the first 2/3 of the field. I think there's the first third probably are a little bit better tuned up than I am, but I actually believe that for the race I'm as good as anybody in the back 2/3. So that gives me that's only a third of the field that we need to be able to continue to get our car better on race day to go race against, and I think we're a lot better than, I think we'll surprise some people on race day.
So you spend so much time here. Each day of practice, what do you hope to accomplish? Do you have certain goals? Obviously, you're looking at, it's a different mindset for you. You're looking at thirds of a field. So just talk about that mindset. What is it like for you?
Well, what you want to do here is you want to get the absolute maximum out of yourself and your program. And so if everybody was racing and started on Friday, I think we'd be tough. We'd be one of the ones to beat. Period. And so what we're trying to do is, first and foremost, is stay to our program. We have the resources that we have, and make the absolute most out of it. I mean, the key is then to come back in the future with a lot more resource and a lot more packaging. So, so far so good. I mean, I'm pleased with the final carburation day warm up. We got a lot of work done, even though it was only some 30 laps. We had a little bit of an issue where we had no brake pedal. I had to pump it up quite a bit, so that didn't enable me to put the big lap down. Yeah, because I wasn't able to draft too close to somebody. Didn't want to risk running into them. Should they get out of the fuel or something? So, we're always adjusting to various situations, and that's one thing about this place is you can plan for only so much, and oftentimes how well you address that which you couldn't plan for has a big, is magnified here. It's a big deal how quickly you can adjust to things. So.
Is it difficult to be a single quad team?
Well, of course it is. Of course it is, especially when you get a late start. I mean, you don't have somebody's data to go with. You don't have somebody to go out and draft with when you're doing race runs. So, yes, it is. I think in the future we'll come back with the sort of resources that we will be an attractive one-car team. We've already discussed potential of doing some technical alliances with some of the other small teams, and I think we can all get organized and it'll make a good game for a number of us.
You've been in here for so long. You have the experience, the know-it-all from inside the cockpit. But when it comes from the team, the engineers, everybody involved, when you're looking so far into the future and you have what you want to do, how tough is it to get the team behind you and for them to be gelled with you?
Correct.
So, yeah.
Well, we only have one, maybe two guys that were even with us last year. So we this year has been a year where we've trained a bunch of new crew guys, and they've really done a great job. And it's a testament to Mitch Davis, our crew chief manager. He's done a really good job. And these guys are not like rookie mechanics. They're all professional race car mechanics. They've just not worked on an Indy car. And to be honest with you, they've come a long way, and we really have gelled. And it's a good little program right now, given the resources. So. I'm pretty excited how it's going. I do think that we're a lot better than, say, it looks like on the sheets, and really nobody remembers those anyway. It's really all about race day and what you have, and I can tell you one thing, over the last 4 or 5 years, we've always had some silly little gremlin. Last year it was the throttle sensor that seized, leaving me with a throttle that was stuck wide open on the pace lap before the start of the race. So obviously that messed up our race in a huge way. We went 44 laps down before we even got to start the race, replacing that. So all these little things that have sort of put us out, I don't feel like that's going to be a factor this year. I mean, the car's been very well prepped to detail, and I think we'll have a good race car.
I'm surprised there's not more single car teams. Obviously, 33 cars this year. You know what it's like to have, a legitimate bump day. So,
yeah.
Why is the sport?
Well, I don't think. Listen, I mean, the reality is, if you don't make the race, you still have all of the expenses, and you don't have the several $100,000 of prize money to offset that. And if you don't make the race here once or twice, you're sunk. You're done. And so I think the reality is the cost of these race cars. I mean, these are $500,000, $750,000 race cars, and the reality of it is, by the time you come here and you don't make the race. The reality is you just can't survive doing that. And so I think they've really, it really is very appropriate that they've sort of taken the Sunday and made it bump day. Bump into pole day, so it's a race on the, what is it, it's the Fast 6, but for Indy it's the Fast 9. So, maybe they can make that the Fast 11. I think that'd be cool, or Fast 12, so it's for the first 3 rows. But that's really far more dramatic and appropriate than doing bump day. Technology changes things, times change, and I've always liked the fact that the Indy 500 can adapt to those changes. I'm not really, like I say, I did participate. I've been around long enough to participate and also to watch. Anytime you have a really good program, your bump is not an issue. And so I think it's more dramatic watching the run for the pole than it is for the run for the last row, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so I know Jay Fry, he had a couple ideas, help the smaller teams out, and maybe even a new engine manufacturer to go with Honda and Chevy. Now, what are your thoughts on that? Do you have certain opinions on what can better?
I think that'd be fantastic. I mean, we saw in the near recent future an engine manufacturer that didn't have as much resources, say, behind it as the other two, and that was not successful, and that's not good for the sport. So as long as the manufacturers that come in, are appropriately competitive, I think that's just more manufacturer support to go around. But as it stands right now between Honda and Chevy, I think it's a really good competition. You might argue one has an advantage over the other, but everything these guys are learning, manufacturers that they're learning on the race cars, they all that technology trickles down to the consumer industry. I mean, everything from as many people know, but some of your listeners may not know, everything from disc brakes, to a lot of the fuel mileage techniques that manufacturers employ today were tested, innovated, tested, and proven and perfected on a race car here in Indianapolis before it trickled down to the consumer industry. So, there is a lot of relevance as a testing platform for the consumer business. So, I can fully understand why manufacturers would be interested.
Yeah, and a big innovation here in Indy has been safety. You know that better than anybody. You got hurt at Phoenix a while back. Sebastian Bourdais just last week. So, when we talk about changes, safety has been absolutely incredible. So,
yeah,
you know it better than anybody.
Well, when I broke my back in like 30 some odd places, and it was a 99.6 G impact at Phoenix. Back then, it was a very long duration too. The duration of the G's is what hurt drivers. That was, almost unsurvivable. Today, you hit like that with that duration, and you probably walk away uninjured. Let alone really injured. So, I mean, the innovations that have occurred in the last 2 decades have been nothing short of phenomenal, and they are constantly, that's the one thing that is the race that never ends, the race to improve safety. And again, all of those aspects of the crumple zones and absorbing energy, these are all technologies that apply to consumer industry and make the family sedan that much safer in the future. So, but yeah, it's come a long way, and it's really a testament to to IndyCar and all the manufacturers. But it's really come a long way.
You've seen everything come a long way. With a smaller team here, you want to build it. How much longer are you going to be racing in IndyCar?
You know, I'm not sure. I just know that I feel like, you know, when I'm in that race car, I don't believe there's anybody that can do what I do better. I feel like I'm very much on top of my game. I really enjoy this place. It tests me, you know, and I enjoy being tested every May. I really enjoy it, but at the same time, you know, it's not something that you can do forever. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but you know. I'd like to come back here and do it the right way, you know, where you're running for the top 5, you have a backup car, and you're really after it.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to do that, but we'll just have to see.
Obviously, you won this race in 1996. Not to make you feel old, that was the year I was born. I was 5 months old. So you talk about
it doesn't make me old.
It doesn't.
I feel the same age. I feel just like I did back then.
Okay. And I just want to show you some photos throughout your career. Just talk about the memory that you had and maybe a little bit of stories. Here's the first one.
Yeah, I think that was a great day. You can see my program came together last minute because they have no sponsorships on my suit. But right there, you know, there we are with four other winners, me being the 5th, and you know, it's always a great day. Look, when you're at the brick, when you're on the yard of bricks and the Borg Warner's there, that's a good day.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the second one? A bit more recent.
So that was obviously last year for the starting field. You know, no matter how many times you've raced here, you know, you really feel right at that moment. You really get. You know, it touches your emotions because there's so many people here and you're about to go racing and all the work is done. It's fantastic. And obviously you have a picture here with me and my family when they were much younger. My son now has an FIA professional license.
Oh my gosh.
And you know, obviously as every driver here will tell you, we couldn't do what we do without the support we have back home with our families. And I'm really, you know, blessed with a great family that supports me racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Best of luck this weekend. This is an honor. Definitely appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
You too.